What's going on with it, man? Y'all already know what it is and who it is, man. It's the masterpiece, mouthpiece, simple to P. Speaking so fluently and eloquently, man, in a spectacular vernacular called realism. One more again. And before I even begin, go to Instagram right now. You know what I mean? I'm going to give you this information just in case if you decide to have a conversation. You know what I mean? After viewing this video, you can simply go to Instagram and put in SIN. 2_ FUL. That's SIN 2_ FUL. And then after that, you can go to Facebook and you can put in PHILL spacebar SIN spacebar FUL spacebar GILMORE. And for the ladies, you can go to Snapchat and just put in simple to P. SINFULTHEP. Fellas, don't hit me up on Snapchat. On Snapchat, it's strictly for the ladies. Getting right into the message, man. You know, this video was done a little while ago, but a lot of you have gotten in my inbox, you know, and you've asked, you know what I mean, about certain people who have videos out there pertaining to the lifestyle of pimping and hoing. As I've said many times, I am not a pimp. I'm not a gangster. I'm not a dope dealer. I don't sit up there, you know what I mean, and crack cards. I don't do none of that. But I have knowledge of that. I am a knowledgeable person of that because I come from poverty. I come from the urban community, which is the ghetto. So I'm knowledgeable about lifestyles simply because I know informative representatives of different lifestyles in the location of the streets. That's why. So, you know, when I hear something contrary to what is right, I have to convey the irrefutable truth. So, and then somebody asked me even on the previous video, could I elaborate a little bit more on what was said? Well, there was a video a little while back that Taxstone decided to do with Vlad. And I like Vladtv. You know, a lot of people speak negatively about Vladtv. I actually like Vladtv and I watch Vladtv. I've even seen a few videos with Taxstone. I'm very happy for him. He just did a video not too long ago with Meek Mills. Prior to that, he did an interview with Benny Siegel. And, you know, prior to, even though, you know, whatever happened, you know, I mean, I still, myself, I'm still in the beans. I grew up on listening to beans. So, you know what I mean? Bro, he just got older. You know, I'll speak on that later on. But Taxstone did an interview with Vlad. And the title of the interview was Taxstone Details Being a Pimp at 15 and Why He Thinks Pimps Are Corny Now. So, you know, whenever you speak positive about a lifestyle, whenever you speak negative about a lifestyle, or, you know, about a population of people, you know, you have to be knowledgeable of what you're speaking about. So, of course, he went to talk about how when he was younger and things like that. I'm going to play a little bit of the interview so you could just hear it. Hold on. Give me just a second.
But it was, I remember one time one of the hoes that got mad at me about something.
Listen.
Sean, the sister, my homegirl, and she got mad at me about something and she called the cops. And the cops was like looking for me for something else that I did in the street. You know what I mean? It had nothing to do with pimping. And it was like, I was just infuriated. And I'm like, yo, when I see this girl, I'm gonna kill her and I'm gonna kill her when I see this girl. You know what I mean? And at that age, like, you know, my moral compass wasn't all the way there because even the dudes that was like basically teaching us the game, their brains wasn't there either. So
I just want to pause that right there. So he said that the teachers that was teaching him the game, he said that mentally they were not there either. So if he didn't receive the information pertaining to the lifestyle, then that means that he was around the lifestyle and he was birthed around the lifestyle retarded, simply because he didn't get the correct information. And as I've said many times, how can you conform or perform something, a behavior, if you're not informed about that behavior? You have to be informed in order to conform and perform a behavior. How could I conform to something that I'm not informed about? How could I perform a behavior unless I'm informed about what that behavior is? The knowledge got to come. It's your knowledge that saves you. In other words, the game. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. People in the game are destroyed for lack of game. But I'm gonna allow this to keep going. You see, I'm fired up, but I'm gonna let this.
I was being poisoned because my teachers was poisoned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So basically, I went my homeboy crib. Like I popped up there out of nowhere and rung his bell, and he was like looking mad funny, and it was because he had the hoe in there. He didn't want to tell me because he just was having sex with her and letting her stay in his house. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I got in there, and she was like asleep on the couch. And when I realized it was her, I was like, what the fuck? So I woke her up. And when I woke her up, I startled her, and like she popped on me, swung on me, hit me about 3-4 times. And like we went in the hallway and we was like wrestling and stuff. And she was kind of strong. So it was like, that's what was really getting me. Like, cause I'm like, yo, I'm really fighting this chick. Like, you know what I mean? I'm fighting a chick. And I threw her down the steps, like, and she landed like on her knees. And that was the last time I ever pimped, because like when she landed, it was like her sister is my people's, and I had a love for her also, you know what I mean? And when I seen like how hurt she was, like she didn't break nothing or nothing, but it just, to see like the position she even landed in, you know what I mean? It was like, that was it for me. And that's like,
I mean, she could have died. She could have broken her neck, fallen down.
Nah, not really her neck, but she landed like this, like with her feet, like it was like the weirdest fall, and I know it had to hurt. So I cringed at the fall. So when I cringed at the fall, like that was like literally the last day I ever dabbled in it, anything, because I was like, this is not for me. If I gotta, you know, manipulate women or deal with, you know, low self-esteem women in order to do it, because I'm not a person that like to pick on the weak or prey on the weak, you know what I mean? And that's what pimping is, and I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, because I remember, you know, when the movie, you know, the documentary Pimp Some Hoes Down came out, I was just like so fascinated that this exists out there.
It's corny though. Like,
yeah, well,
I always wanted, like, pimps is corny, and I always want to elaborate that. Like, any pimps you write me, whatever, you corny. You know what I mean? And you corny for mad reasons, because I feel like this, like you know, like let's say there's 300, like King Leonidas is not gonna go fight, you know, the people that don't want to fight, and that's what pimping is. It's a mental spar, and whoever's the weakest loses. So the girl, she's the weakest, whatever she might be going through in her life, we pray on whatever it might be. You need shelter,
father figure,
and that's what it be a lot of times. It be women that don't have father figures, and they might have a mother in their life. Their mother might just work too many hours a day to pay attention to her. You know what I mean? And that's why I don't like pimping. Like it's too much manipulation. You preying on the weak, especially like I'm sensitive towards women. Like I say a lot of shit about women, as far as like constructive criticism, and some women that come off to them as bashing. The strong ones know it's not bashing. It's like trying to give correction. Like, no, don't do that. Do this. You know what I mean? So, and it's because a lot of it has to do with that stage of my life when I was pimping. Like that shit was like a fucked up stage. Like it was a stage where I made mad money, but it was such a mental drain on me. And for me to have to be a counselor, a boyfriend, or you got to be everything to these girls, like especially you dealing with 5 different women with different emotions. They all got problems in their household and stuff like that. These girls was my age. Like, you understand what I'm saying?
How old at the time?
I was 14, 15 years old. Like these girls were my age.
Oh, so wait, the girls you were pimping were 14, 15?
They was my age.
Oh, wow.
It was my age. So, you know, when I got to about 15, cracking into 16 years old, is when it snapped to me like, yo, like, this shit is like, it's corny, you know what I mean? It's corny for the manipulation factor. It's corny that you gotta prey on the weak, like, and you know, it was like different shit that like fucked me up that I didn't know came with pimping. So, you know, I thought it was just about wearing my fur jacket, and I like had a lot of furs at the time, because like Pee Wee Kirkland had like a fur store. So I used to have all the furs. Like I had at least a dozen, you know, like I gotta find old pictures. I got some, you know, I don't know if you remember the phase where like they was wearing fur, everything, fur jerseys, R. Kelly in them.
Right.
We had the fur jerseys. Like we had fur Knicks jerseys, Celtics shits, you know what I mean? But I thought that's what it was about. And then it was a day when one dude was like, yo, come with me real fast. And I got with him. I went with him to another track in Queens, South Road. And he jumped out and kidnapped the chick. Like literally, like jumped out, grabbed her by her mouth and like threw her in the car. Now, meanwhile, I'm a kid at the time, so I don't want to seem like I'm not with it. You know what I mean? I want to be gangster and stuff like that. So I'm like, but at the same time, I'm like, yo, what the fuck is he doing? Like, you just kidnapped the chick. So it was shit like that that just really made me was like, yo, this shit ain't for me. Like, I'm not kidnapping this chick. You know what I mean? Like, and then holding her in the house against her will, because this is what they'll do. They'll kidnap a girl, they'll hold her in the house, then they'll feed her, you know, it's like a dog treatment, like, you know, a bad dog treatment, you know what I mean? Yeah. They'll feed her, keep her on a leash, and like, probably won't even rape her yet. Like, it's like so many different tactics that they use. Like, you know what I mean? My man Kev Webb right now is in jail for rape over a girl that he didn't rape. Found a chick, she was acting like a hoe, whatever, in Coney Island on the beach. He brought her to home. He said he wanted to break her in. And when break her in was a hoe, it's like, yo, you'll have 5, 6, 7 dudes, fuck her. Because you want to know that her pussy can even take it. She got to know that that's all her pussy going to be taken every night as a constant beat down or whatever. So they brought some dudes to break her in, and like, she didn't want to get fucked on her ass. And like, the dudes like, fucked on her ass, you know what I mean? And I don't even think he even had anything to do with the rape, but it happened in his house, and he was the person that brought it there, yeah. And he doing 40 to life. But see, I had fell out from it even before that happened, you know what I mean? So it's just, that shit right there is just a sensitive subject. I can't do it. It's just like kids, like the, you know, and that's where all that shit lies to me. Like prostitution, it lies into the what's that shit called where they fucking trading kids and shit like that?
Human trafficking.
Like all that shit is like, it's the same thing, because it's like you preying on the weak, because a kid is weak, a child is weak, a young lady is weak that, you know, that's just roaming the streets 3 o'clock in the morning. That's 14 years old. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what it was too. A lot of dudes on the track, like, I don't ever try to justify what I was doing. I know it was wrong. I'm gonna tell you it was wrong. I'm gonna tell other pimps they wrong, you know? But in my head, I was okay because I was 14 and the girls was 14, you know? But these dudes was 35, 40, and the girls was 14 that they had also.
Let me stop it right there. For those of you that would like to watch the video in its entirety, just go on YouTube and just put in Taxstone, and you just put the title Pimpin, and it'll take you right to the Vlad interview. But let me just say this, because I was saying something there, because I seen a statement that was even made by even a legendary P, and he said that pimps are born and not made. Now, logically, I disagree with that, simply because no one's born with the information. No one's born with the game. You're born with characteristics. You're born basically with qualities and capabilities. You know, that's what you're born with. That's what should be said. But no, you wasn't born a pimp. You don't come out of your mother's womb with the game on how to basically preside over a woman. You have to basically have something about you. There's already basically something about you as a person that makes you a candidate to be a participant of different lifestyles. I could agree with that. But nobody comes out their mother's pussy, you know, with a book of the game. No, it don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? So in order to participate in the lifestyle accordingly, you would have to receive information, whether it be by some other representation, or whether it be by incarceration, or whether it be by just going through adversities, as people basically, you understand, in the streets call it, you know what I'm saying, mispimping. But you can only mispimp if you're a pimp. You know what I'm saying? So for those of you, some of you, you know what I mean, it's just called no pimping at all. You know what I'm saying? Because only pimps mispimp. You know, I get into that later. Mispimping is when you do something contrary to what was right by pimping. You know what I'm saying? You did something contrary to the rules and regulations of the game, whether with knowledge or without knowledge, but you still mispimped. But only pimps can do that. You know what I mean? And you have to mispimp in order to pimp. What are you saying, Simple? You got to do things that's incorrect in the beginning because you're not knowledgeable. So when a person tells me that they're 14 and 15 years old, that just lets me know that you was just a young little teenager and you basically slipped on a banana peel and fell into something or fell around something. You know what I'm saying? But to actually profess to be an authentic participant of the lifestyle, hell the fuck no. Because he told you in the beginning that the teachers that was teaching him, they didn't even have a mind. And see, in the lifestyle of pimping and hoeing, you have to have a mind. Contrary to popular belief, you have to be intelligent. You have to be articulate. Your mind has to be a museum of innumerable information in order to be authentic representation in the lifestyle of pimping and hoeing. Anybody can break on a hoe. Anybody can charge a bitch. But to actually say that you're pimping on a woman, that's not saying that you're preying on the weak. That's saying that you're taking information and you're utilizing it to elevate a woman that might have been weak or she might have been strong. You turned the weak into strong, or you made the strong stronger. You elevated. You cannot say that you actually pimped on an individual if you did not elevate the individual. Simple, you mean to tell me that, because I thought by the rap songs and people like Taxstone, I thought that, you just beat the shit out of a woman, treat her any kind of way, and, you just manipulate her. You tell her that 2 + 2 is 5. You sit up there and take every dollar that she has to survive. I thought that, it was just deception and manipulation and things like that. And I'm telling you that that's a devilation. I'm telling you that that's not a revelation about the occupation called pimping and hoeing. And with that devilation, you'll never get to the destination of success. You're going to find yourself in a location called incarceration. You're going to be in somebody's correctional facility singing Deborah Cox, "How Did I Get Here?" That's what you're going to be doing. You understand me? But he didn't have any game. He wasn't around anybody with the game. So you can't say that you involved in something. Hey, like I always say, if you come to a football field playing basketball, can we classify you as a football player? If you play football on a basketball court, can we classify you as a basketball player? No, because you don't play according to the rules and regulations of the game. In order to be a participant of the game, you got to play according to the rules and regulations of the game. And all of that shit that he was talking about, that ain't had nothing to do with the damn game. Listen, man, scientists, perfectionists, informative representatives in the lifestyle of pimping and hoeing. Now, what I will say, what they're going to tell you, the real ones, they're not going to tell you that, you got to beat a woman's ass, to obtain and maintain a woman. Because if you got to beat a woman's ass to obtain and maintain the money that come from her, that ain't even pimping. Pimping is power. That's why I be trying to tell people that even profess to be gangsters. You can't be a gangster if you have no power. You can't be a pimp if you don't have no power. How? When you are pimping on a woman, that means that she is complying and applying the information that is proceeding from your mouth. The woman has to understand the importance of you as the instructor so she can understand the significance of your instructions. All right? And if she doesn't understand the importance of you being her instructor, if she doesn't understand the significance of your instructions, man, it's going to go to the location of destructions. She got to know you as a man. You got to know her as a woman. All of this beating her up when she do something, and a lot of y'all use that word in the lifestyle. A lot of y'all use that word fag very fluently and don't know the true authentic definition of a fag ass bitch. But you use the word because you hear other people. It's become common. It become common among common men in that lifestyle. You understand me? But to be all the way real, just because a woman does something that women do, that does not automatically make her a fact. That makes her a woman. And if you emotionally react with your fists instead of mentally respond with some profound and prolific words about this pimping, you're not pimping. When a pastor preaches to the congregation and members in his congregation are participating in abominations such as homosexuality, fornication, idolatry, and masturbation, if they lying or whatever, do the pastor come down from the pulpit and whoop everybody's ass? No. He stands over that pulpit and continues to give the word. And after he conveys the word, by them having a solical part in them, when the word of God comes, they feel conviction. And when the spirit of condemnation comes because of the information that's coming from the preacher, they feel that conviction. They feel that condemnation. So now you feel convicted. You go from convicted to feeling convinced. And you were so convinced that you went to the altar and lifted up your hands and surrendered all. Well, pimps are not preachers. Preachers are not pimps, but they have similarities. When a pimp speaks to the woman, and when the woman does something contrary to the rules and regulations of the game, and if she does something contrary to his rules, why would a pimp come down from the heavens and decide to be Floyd Mayweather to make the situation better? Evidently, if you didn't want to comply and apply to my information, then you don't deserve me. Because there are many women, there are many men professing to be pimps and hoes, but it's only one of me. That's a pimp's mentality. Especially in 2016, I don't have time to be beating you up like I'm Tyson, in his prime. That's going to cause me to lose time away from this pimping. I don't have time for that. So instead of casting pearls before swine and sitting over there beating your ass from Genesis to Revelations in every motherfucking locations and taking your leg off of and kicking the dingleberries out your ass, man, rebuke that bitch. Let her go. Or basically, you understand me, pimp her away. Or make her, you understand me, so frustrate her to the point where you put so much task on her and stuff, she just give up and just blow up. You know what I'm saying? But as far as putting your hands on, look, I'm not going to say that a pimp never put his hands on a woman or pimps don't put their hands on the women. But see, this is what I don't like about this. If a husband hits his wife, you don't speak on marriage. You don't speak against marriage because a husband beat his wife. Juanita Bynum was a well-known televangelist. When she got her ass whooped by the bishop, did you speak against bishops? Did you speak against marriage? No, you did not. You guys all spoke against what had transpired between them. So when you speak against something, speak against that representation. Don't speak against the whole population or that occupation that people basically are involved in. Don't do that. Because judging a whole population by only the representation that you see is going to give you the wrong depiction, the wrong vision and definition every motherfucking time. You can't judge everybody by the little peons that you see in the ghetto, in the urban community of things. They can't think of a mental response, not mentally responding. So he's emotionally reacting. And if he's emotionally reacting, he's become equivalent to the woman. He's reacting with his feelings. He's a Carl Thomas the P ass nigga. He's emotional. The pimping is intellectual. The pimping is professional. That's not the pimping. The pimping is thinking about being successful. The pimping is thinking about basically empowering himself and those around him. So the pimping don't be looking for no weak-minded woman. Because if she's weak-minded, the same way that you knocked her weak ass, that's how somebody else gonna knock her weak ass, and you're gonna get that phone call. Or when they got her in that interrogation room and they're asking her 1,000,000 questions in 2 seconds, she gonna be the first bitch to sit up there and tell on you. So no, you don't want a weak ass woman. You want a woman that's going to sit up there and, now I would never see myself doing that. And, oh, I graduated from here. And, oh, I attended this church. And, oh, my father is such and such, such and such. Oh, my mother is such and such, such and such. That's when you're pimping. Now you're being challenged. Can you think of a mental response to win this debate with this woman? Can you be verbally combative with this woman who has education from an Ivy League school? Now we're seeing whether or not you a pimp. Pimping is not catching some little 14-year-old girl coming from the Greyhound talking about I'm down. Pimping is not trying to get a bankroll out of a 2-year-old. Pimping is not sitting over there, you understand me, starting with the kindergarten. No, that's not pimping. That is not the pimping. See, what they try to do is they try to give these negative images to minimize the pimping. And it's coming from squares that know nothing about the lifestyle of pimp. That don't even make sense. I'm endeavoring to be successful and rich, but I'm looking for women who don't have a good comprehension. I'm looking for women who got low self-esteem. If she got low self-esteem, how the hell is she going to sit up there and talk to this rich, prestigious, powerful ass trick with confidence and power? The hoe is supposed to be right here. The trick is supposed to be down there. No matter how much money a trick has, it shouldn't be equivalent to the hoe. And if a pimp is treating his woman like she ain't shit, talking to her like she ain't shit, how you think she gonna carry herself when she go out into the world? Like she ain't shit. And that's why your trap ain't gonna never be shit, because you treat your woman like she ain't shit. Your trap will be a reflection of how she feels. How she feels will be a reflection of how you're treating her. A woman is going to produce what you introduce to her. So if you're introducing abuse, if you're introducing mental and verbal abuse each and every day, then that should tell you why you're not producing. That should tell you why you're still hotel living. That should tell you why you don't have a car. That should tell you why you don't have a house. That should tell you why you can't get them $1,000 and $2,000 shoes. That should tell you why you don't have no money in the IRA account. That should tell you why you don't have an IRA account. That should tell you why you don't have bank accounts. That should tell you why the same way you started 5 and 10, 15 years ago, you in that same place. You ain't nowhere near Revelations. You still trying to you still in the incubator in Genesis. That should tell you why. You cannot be a successful pimp and treat women any kind of way. Now, in the 60s and the 70s, when those laws were, more lenient, sure, you had guys that was overtly abusive. But not only did you see, they try to put it all on the pimping, but you had people that was abusive and they were ministers. You had guys that was abusive to women and they were pastors. They were teachers. They were lawyers. They were politicians. It has nothing to do so much with your lifestyle. It has everything to do with who you were before you even got in the lifestyle. So if you was an abusive guy before you got involved in the lifestyle, once you basically seen all of the guys that knew how to make bullshit look good, you evolved in that bullshit in the lifestyle because you already had a seed and those negative representations around you gave you the water to basically grow into the motherfucker that you are today, an abusive male. An abusive male, that's what you are. But if you feel like notice I said feel like, and notice what he said, I feel like, speaking from an emotion. And when it comes to the pimping, you're going to lose out every time you sitting up there speaking from a damn emotion, man, because it's not about emotionalism. It's about knowledge and wisdom pertaining to the ism. That's what it's pertaining to. The vernacular of knowledge and wisdom has nothing to do with that language called emotionalism. That's two different worlds. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Jeremiah 17:9. So anytime a guy says, I feel, or I feel like this, that's already let me know he losing right there. He's speaking from his feelings. In the lifestyle of pimping and hoeing, a man has to think beyond how he feels. He cannot ever allow his feelings to be greater than his intelligence. He can never allow his temporary emotionalism that he's going through to eradicate his intelligence. Not a pimp. So the fact that he would say these things, and I'm not angry at Taxstone. He's a bright young man. You know, he don't mean no harm. He just didn't know what he was talking about. He was in an environment where basically he was around guys that knew how to make bullshit look good. That's all. That's all. So, you know, he was just a young little male that slipped on the banana peel and fell around some old ignorant and fraudulent guys that were older than him. And he conformed to the little knowledge that they gave him, that devilation, not a revelation. They gave him a devilation about the occupation of pimping and hoeing, and he conformed to that bullshit, and that's why he was saying that bullshit on that Vlad interview. You know. Now notice, and I'm not saying that about Vlad, but notice they always put people who are ignorant or fraudulent or basically, you know what I'm saying, in front of you guys because they want to glorify ignorance to you. They're trying to keep you away, you know, from the irrefutable truth about the truth. What's the truth? Pimping and hoeing. Oh, it's the truth. I can show you pimping and hoeing in all forms of life. From religiosity to politics to... I can show you pimping and hoeing in every form of life. It would have to be long. Even this video is too long, so I'm going to have to cut this short. But, you know, to Taxstone, hey, man, you know, I like what you're doing. Keep doing your thing, man. Get your subscribers and things like that. But no, pimps are not corny. It was just corny about how you came into the lifestyle. The guys who basically gave you that falsified information, you know, they were corny. And the things that you was doing to them, to your girlfriends, because they wasn't hoes. They was just girlfriends prostituting for you, you know, simply because, you know, maybe they didn't have mother and father. Let me say this too. A woman can have education, a two-parent home, come from a religious background, and still have a desire to be a hoe. You know, I know what you thought. You thought that a woman had to be raped. You thought that she had to be in incestuous activities. You thought that, you know, her father had to mess with her at night in order for her to basically walk that track at night and make sure a pimp's trap is right. That's what you thought. But I'm telling you that that's contrary to the truth. That's not the authentic depiction, vision, definition of this lifestyle whatsoever. You've been, as Malcolm say, you've been hoodwinked, you've been bamboozled, you've been lied to, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you've been deceived. As the scriptures say, deceiving and being deceived. And that's what Taxstone was doing. According to the scripture, he was deceiving and he was being deceived. He was deceiving those little girls that did know better, and he was a little guy and his mind had not even formed yet. So he was deceiving and he was being deceived.